So how do you read sheet music? Well, the first thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to clear up a few things. And first thing to clear up is, what are these two things? What are these two symbols? And what do they represent? Well, the first one here, this one is called the treble clef. The treble clef. And this one here is called the bass clef. So what do these things represent? Well, first off, when you see these symbols, you're going to see them in relation to it's going to look like something like this. These lined structures. And these are called staffs or staves. These are called staffs or staves. So, staff. Just like that. So, and what are these things? What do these things do? And when you're looking at it, you're going to kind of see like maybe some music that kind of looks like that. Well, the beauty of these things are, this kind of concept is like a universal language of music. And each line in each space represents a note to be played on a piano or any other instrument. So for instance, each in the treble clef, the bottom line represents E, the note E, the G for the second line, third line, fourth line, fifth line. These represent the lines. These, like if you see a note, say right here, that is telling you you're going to play an E note. And an easy way to remember these lines, E, G, B, D, F, and what they represent, is by this little mnemonic. Every good boy deserves fudge. Every good boy deserves fudge. And that's an easy way to kind of remember what these lines are representing. What do these spaces represent on the treble clef? They represent, the first space represents F, and then the second A, third C, and fourth E. And so that's a pretty easy thing to remember. All you have to remember is kind of just a face. That's all you have to remember for that one. So if you see like this note here in the space, that means you're going to play an F. For the bass clef, it's a little different. For the staff, the bass clef, it's a little different, slightly different. The lines represent, the first line represents G, then B, D, F, A, and the spaces represent A, C, E, G. So again, if you see a note, you're just playing what these are representing. An easy way to remember the lines for the bass is this little mnemonic. Green birds don't fly away. So I'm going to just draw a little picture here. be a pretty bad one. So just think about this. If you see a little green bird, just think green birds don't fly away. So that hopefully that'll help you with these lines here. In this one, there's probably a way to memorize this, but really you just remember ace, maybe like a card, ace, and then G, ace, G. And I find that helps quite a bit. So considering there's so many keys on a piano, you've got sharps, and you've got flats, and you've got all this stuff. Where do they come in? Like we're not even seeing these here. We're not even seeing a G sharp. Like, is it like kind of in between like a G and an A? Like, is it kind of like right here? Well, no. When you see the beginning of a staff, you might see something like that, like a notation like that. Well, that's telling you that every G in this staff is going to be sharped. So instead of playing a G, you're going to play a G sharp here if you see a note kind of in this space. If you see a note in this space, you're gonna say, oh, HG, oh, it's a G, and then, oh, this is it's showing a sharp notation, so I guess I'm gonna play a G sharp instead. And then other times you might see maybe some kind of notation like this before a note. That means, well, I know HG, second space is a C. Oh, this notation is coming before it. That means I'm going to have to play a C flat, right? So C flat is B, of course. But that's really what, there's going to be certain notations like that are gonna kind of guide you and tell you, oh, okay, this is that, and I'm going to play a sharp instead of just a natural note. And oh, and of course, before I shouldn't forget the natural note. So say if this is sharped at the beginning, I'm supposed to play. So say if it's the A's are sharped at the beginning of a staff, I get to this note here. It says A sharp. And then I keep going, I keep reading across the music, and I see this notation here. This notation represents a natural. So if the note comes after that notation, like that, that means I'm not just playing a natural, and in contrast to before where I played an A sharp. So all you have to do is just keep that in mind. But this doesn't really tell you exactly which F or which A sharp to play. So what are these things? What's the main purpose of a treble and a bass clef? And really, a treble clef is your right hand, bass clef is your left hand. But more importantly than that, where these things split, where it differentiates between a treble clef and a bass clef, and that little split is at middle C, the all-important middle C. And if you don't know what that is the fourth C up the piano. So if you just counted from each C, 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 fourth C, okay, that's middle C. And now you can kind of get your bearings where you're supposed to play these now. So if you see this note here, you know, okay, every good boy deserves fudge. E, it's going to be the first E above middle C. See, it's pretty simple and pretty ingenious. We're going to go to the piano now, and I'm gonna actually show you some examples. So here's my little example for you guys, and we're at the piano here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find middle C. So we go all the way down to the bottom of the piano, 1 C, 2 C, 3 C's, and 4. So we get to the 4th C. So we know that here's middle C, and now we know where we're at. So if we look here, the first thing we want to look at are the two staffs here. If there, are there any notations? Yes, there are. Here's a sharp and another sharp. So what are these representing? Well, again, using the mnemonic I taught you guys, every good boy deserves. So D's are sharped in the treble. You look down here, green birds don't. So D's are sharped in both staffs now. So if you look here, the first note I'm going to get you guys to play here is an E, right? And it's, since we're in the treble clef, it's the E above middle C. And I've got you guys playing two notes together. And again, this is a D sharp here, so I'm getting you guys to play an E and a D sharp with both your hands. Since I'm using my one hand to record, I can't do it. So that's supposed to be playing those two notes together. The next thing we're going to do here, we're going to see, okay, what's this representing? Well, here's an F right here, and here's an E. So this must be a D. So we since all the D's are sharp, that's a D sharp with our right hand, since it's in the treble clef. So a D sharp. So the D sharp above middle C. And what's this line here? You see, I kind of added a line here. So if you do this, green birds don't fly away. Okay. So what's this though? What is this note? If you can use your other mnemonics I taught you, right? We've got don't fly away, so this is an F A, so we can use the face mnemonic, F A C. This is C. Well, which C is it? Remember, guys, remember what I said before? Middle C kind of separates these, so this line here is actually representing middle C. So you actually want to play these two notes together. Again, with both hands instead of just, well, I'm just playing with one hand, but you guys would play with both hands. And the last little example here, I've got you guys playing the line below the treble clef, and then this one down here. So what is this representing in the treble clef? Well, again, here's an E, but what would this be? You guessed it, that's a C. And what C would that be? That would be middle C, of course. So it kind of looks like they're not really the same note, but they are. These two are the same, but play with a different hand. So the line above the line above the bass clef is a C. The line below the treble clef is middle C too. So we know what this is. We know we're going to be playing middle C in the right hand. And now what's this note here? Again, using your mnemonic device, Ace G, you know that's an A, and you know that it's going to be the second A below middle C, because we know this one here is an A as well, right? Green birds don't fly away, so you know that's the first A below middle C, so this must be the second A below middle C. So we kind of find here's the first A below middle C, here's the second A, and then you play C with that A. And since I can't do it, you guys will have to. So I hope that helped you guys.